next important issue with regard to India, sir, is terrorism. We faced two major terror attacks, one in Pahalgaon and then one in Delhi. My question to you is that we see a dual ideology on terror in the world from different countries. What is the solution in your eyes? Because Russia has also faced terrorism. India faces it. What, in your eyes, is the solution to your terrorist, my freedom fighter ideology?
It's very simple. To achieve freedom, we must use lawful means only. Any actions involving criminal methods or those harming people cannot be supported. This has been decided long ago. As you have correctly noted, Russia has repeatedly faced acts of extreme terrorism throughout its recent history. In these matters, India is our full ally, and we completely support India's fight against terrorism.
С Индией мы полный союзник и целиком и полностью поддерживаем Индию в борьбе с терроризмом.
Right. Okay. But there's another country in the neighborhood, very important to Russia, important to India, Afghanistan. You are a very rare country to have recognized the Taliban regime. What made you really look at that as a strategic interest to recognize the Taliban at a time when the world is still saying they have not given equal rights to women, where there are still a lot of issues with Afghanistan actually coming to becoming a country that holds women and men equally, and there are many other human rights issues there.
In every country there are enough problems, and Afghanistan is not an exception, considering that for decades this country has been embroiled in a civil war. It's just horrible. But the Taliban clearly controls the situation in Afghanistan, and this is evident. Here's what needs to be said first, and you have to accept it because it's reality. Secondly, what's important to note is that the Afghan government takes many actions to combat terrorism and various terrorist organizations, including ISIL and others like them. This we also know very well. Afghan authorities have significantly reduced opium production in their country and are actively addressing drug threats from within its borders. There are several other important issues here. The main point is that in order to influence events happening in the country, you must stay in contact with the current leadership there. Exactly what we are doing.
Предпринимает активные шаги по сокращению наркоугрозы с территории Афганистана. Есть и некоторые другие обстоятельства. И главное из них заключается в том, что для того, чтобы как-то влиять на происходящий процесс, нужно быть в контакте, нужно работать. Чем мы и занимаемся.
There's another flashpoint.
The foreign minister of Afghanistan was in India. This I'm just sharing a snippet. He was in India, and we weren't allowed. Women weren't allowed to attend the press conference, and we fought back. And then he had to hold a press conference with women as part of that entire delegation. Isn't that interesting? I was just sharing it with you.
There is truth in what you say, but on the other hand, if he hadn't come here, you wouldn't have had any chance to influence these events at all. And now you've got both connections and the minister who has arrived. You were able to express your reaction to what happened. How do we measure whether that's little or much? It seems to me that at least this is the part of your influence and your partner's influence on the situation. But imagine there were no contacts at all. Then what? Everything remains exactly as before, and nobody, including yourself, would influence anything or express any opinion about this. In contrast, now such an opportunity is available to you. Contacts are better than no contacts at all.
Pushing for change is equally important, as you make a very valid point. The other flashpoint is Gaza. And it is now being known that you, sir, Vladimir Putin, have a new peace plan for Gaza. Trump also has one. What is your Gaza peace plan, and what do you propose, sir?
Мы не предлагаем какого-то особого плана. Мы всегда исходили из того, что...
We don't offer any special plan. We have always believed that the only way to solve the Palestinian problem is by implementing the solutions adopted and considered by the United Nations over many years. And the most important one is establishing an independent Palestinian state. That is the key to resolving all issues.
Okay. The other important issue when you talk about Israel and Gaza that Anjana just did is the fact that the Arab world, when it comes to the issue of Gaza and people of Palestine, did not really do as much as your ally, your friend Iran did. How do you look at this entire scenario where this is a changed world order? We never thought that Iran would fight back for Palestinians more than the Arab world.
Вы знаете, каждая
Each of these countries, in its way, is concerned about Palestine and the Palestinian people, worrying for them. And each of them tries to contribute in resolving the situation. Some things are obvious, others remain hidden in the shadows. But it doesn't mean that no one is doing anything. This is a complex issue that no one has managed to resolve over the years. Hence, it can't be fixed in just a few months by clicking a button. However, we should aim precisely at achieving this goal, establishing a Palestinian state. What has been done until now was done by President Trump. Naturally, primarily the return of Israeli hostages and Hamas took this step. I think, frankly speaking, this was the most important thing that was done as part of the latest steps for the settlement in Gaza. I believe it would be correct, perhaps, to think about the possibility of organizing the governance in such a way as to transfer all authority to the Palestinians. There are such options. They are being discussed both by Arab countries and the neighbors and beyond it. It's being discussed in the United States as well, I know it. As part of the United Nations, we have always taken part in this process. We will continue to do that with our friends.
Такие варианты есть, такие варианты обсуждаются и арабскими странами, и с соседями, и не только, и в Штатах обсуждается, я знаю. Ну, и мы в рамках Организации Объединенных Наций, мы всегда были участниками этого процесса и продолжим эту работу вместе с нашими друзьями.
Right.